it's a question of improving the conditions for doing business. We've been trying. We've not really got there. So, for example, recently what we have done is to ask the business community, our friends, to be honest with us. What are the things that they think we should do to improve the doing business climate here in Tanzania?
So what would you need to do to start up shop in Tanzania?
Yeah, if somebody wants to come and invest in Tanzania, we have simplified. First of all, we have got a legislation which created this institution. So that legislation spells out if an investor wants to come, he must have a legal company, he must have the money to do the business, at least if they are foreigners, $300,000. Then he must prove to you that he has got a place to invest, that he has got the land, and then he has got a business plan. So it's very simple. So once you have those documents, you submit them to the Tanzania Investment Center. We process them within 7 days to 14 days, because again the legislation gives us period in which we have to tell an investor yes or no. So within 14 days maximum, we must be able to come back to the investor and tell that investor, yes, your project is in process, and so on.
Back in the early days of independence, Nyera's Ujamaa socialism promoted communal farming villages, which were set up to ensure food security. And last year, government realized just how important the sector is, as the country faced massive food and fuel price shocks. And that's where the economic processing zones come in.
Tanzania produces a lot of agricultural products, and most of these agricultural products are being exported in their raw forms. Now we want to reverse that. We want to ensure that almost all the agricultural products which are produced from within are being added value from within and then exported. We offer a lucrative package of incentives for investors who come to invest in Tanzania. Now for the export processors, export processing zones, first of all, we offer a tax holiday of 10 years. That's no corporation tax for 10 years. And then investors are exempted from payment of withholding tax on rent, on dividends, on interest for another 10 years. These are the capital goods and the raw materials can come in tax-free, duty-free.
Food is still relatively expensive, although inflation is now under control. But still, with the majority of Tanzanians living below the poverty line, it's in agriculture where China's influence will play a major developmental role.
The Tanzania side would like to have the joint venture bank, agriculture bank. They put the agricultural sector in the utmost position. You see that food is most important, is life. Also, Tanzania is very rich in the potential land, edible land, in irrigation. And they are very active to cooperate with Chinese side, to establish the joint agriculture bank, to give the access to the farmers to have the loan.
Part of the strategy to attract foreign investment was to rid the country of corruption. President Kikwete put the record straight when he fired Governor of the Central Bank at the time, Daudi Balali, in a scandal involving more than $116 million, which had been improperly paid to 22 firms through the bank's external payment arrears account.
Governance, especially in Africa, is a very important problem. Fighting against corruption is very important, and everywhere where something is done correctly, we have to commend the government. Was a case of, you are right in quoting it, President Kikwete in this question of the central bank. There may be other cases like this in other parts of Africa, but it's obvious that governance, which may appear something which is very far from economic policy, it in fact at the roots of a correct implementation of the good policies.
One, corruption is evil. Corruption makes doing business expensive. corruption increases costs of running government activities. Cost of for example, if there is corruption, construction of a road become more expensive. Of course, we've been trying. It's not so easy. So we've been trying to. We have strengthened our anti-corruption bureau. They're doing a lot of investigation now. At the beginning, we were not seeing anything. Now they're beginning to see, because I said the first thing we do is let's build the institutional framework for dealing with this problem. Then we started employing new people, training, the legislation. So now they have begun to be quite busy. We have I think about 5 cases already, and we have another few of them, 2 or 3 already lined up for action. So we'll continue with this one. Just send the message home that be honest, be transparent, be responsible enough in doing business, in performing your duties as a public servant.
Starting up a business can be challenging in any country, and one of the major attractions in Tanzania has been the Land Reforms Act, which allows investors to own land, a necessity that was previously unattainable.
More than tax incentives, those are the incentives. If you can make my entry into your country as quickly as possible, you make sure that I live peacefully in the country. There is no disturbance. It's a country of law and order, and if I want to access land, I can access land. Those are some of the incentives that we provide, because in some other countries we find that a foreigner cannot have access to land. He must acquire it from locals, which forces you to have an intermarriages with even somebody that we don't even know. But for us, what we say, the law provides that if you're an investor, then you'll access land. But if you are not an investor, as a foreigner, you cannot access land.